When a thousand-year sect master offers his entire legacy to one man and is calmly refused, this is no ordinary cultivator. In this chapter, Han Li faces an offer that could shake the cultivation world and uncovers a secret that leads straight to Devilfall Valley. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. When Ancestor Lingu heard Han Li's reply, he frowned and remained silent for a long while. Instead of speaking, he slowly lifted his teacup and took a measured sip. Only then did he say calmly, "Fellow Taoist Han, this much is clear to me. But I am not like you. I have presided over Yellow Maple Valley for more than 1,000 years, and I have grown deeply attached to it. I do not wish to see its legacy severed after my death." His gaze sharpened slightly. "It seems fellow Taoist has little interest in fame or profit. However, if you are willing to succeed me as the Grand Elder of Yellow Maple Valley, I am prepared to present you with my personal riches, the treasures I have accumulated over many years. They will be of great benefit to your future cultivation." Han Li's eyes narrowed slightly in surprise. "You would leave your inheritance to me?" he asked coolly. "If I recall correctly, you have personal disciples." Ancestor Lingu gave a cold smile. "Among my disciples, the highest cultivation reaches only the mid-core formation stage. Leaving my inheritance to them would merely invite calamity. Even if you refuse, I will not be leaving the majority of my treasures to the sect." Han Li rubbed his chin, sinking into thought. To be honest, Ancestor Lingu's offer stirred a trace of temptation within him. Yet Han Li understood all too clearly that if he accepted the position of Elder of Yellow Maple Valley, he would inevitably be dragged into countless entanglements involving the 6 sects of Yue and the 9 Nations Union, matters that would take years to settle. Moreover, while he would gain absolute authority as the sole nascent soul cultivator of Yellow Maple Valley, he would also sacrifice the freedom he currently enjoyed within the Drifting Cloud sect. More importantly, there was the unavoidable issue of how the Masked Moon sect would react. After a long moment, Han Li shook his head. "Many thanks for your generous offer. However, this matter need not be mentioned again." Ancestor Lingu did not grow angry. Instead, helplessness flickered across his face. With a quiet sigh, he said, "Since you have refused these conditions, it seems fellow Taoist Han has no intention of involving himself with the 6 sects of Yue. If that is the case, I have another proposal." Han Li's expression shifted slightly. "Another proposal?" Ancestor Lingu smiled bitterly. "Since you are unwilling to become an elder of Yellow Maple Valley, how about this? I will give you 3 treasures in exchange for 3 requests of aid on behalf of Yellow Maple Valley. Naturally, these requests will remain within your capabilities." After a brief moment of thought, Han Li nodded decisively. 3 requests within my capabilities, I can accept those terms." Ancestor Lingu's expression eased. With a wave of his hand, 3 items appeared on the table as though they had been prepared long in advance. Without hesitation, Han Li's gaze fell upon them. There was a small, lustrous blue shield, a red jade bottle, and a jet-black jade pendant. He reached out and picked up the blue shield first. The moment it entered his grasp, it softened and grew light as if it were weightless. Han Li examined it closely, surprised that he could not immediately determine what material it had been refined from. Ancestor Lingu glanced at the shield with clear reluctance. "This is an ancient treasure I acquired in my youth. It accompanied me for many years. I simply call it the Blue Light Shield. Its defensive abilities are formidable, particularly against fire-attributed attacks. You will see for yourself once you test it." Han Li gently stroked the shield before setting it back on the table. Judging from its strange nature, Ancestor Lingu's words were likely true. He then reached for the red jade bottle. "Years ago," Ancestor Lingu continued, "I ventured deep into the Mulan Plains and slew a grade 7 iron-winged demon beast. That bottle contains its demon core, an exceedingly rare material with countless uses. A grade 7 demon core." Han Li sighed inwardly, though his expression remained unchanged. Such an item was priceless in the heavenly south, yet of limited value to him. He opened the bottle, glanced inside, then returned it to its place. His gaze finally settled upon the black jade pendant. This time, Ancestor Lingu merely wore a strange smile and did not introduce it. Han Li studied the pendant carefully. After a moment, he asked doubtfully, "This jade talisman, was it refined by ancient cultivators?" A trace of surprise appeared on Ancestor Lingu's face. "You recognize it?" he asked curiously. "According to what I know, such talismans were rare even in antiquity. They should have vanished long ago in the heavenly south, and very few cultivators here should even know of them. Han Li smiled faintly. I merely encountered a fellow Taoist who happened to know of such things. I learned of it from him. Ancestor Lingu glanced at the talisman and said slowly, I risked my life to obtain this jade talisman. Its value is beyond doubt. Although I have yet to fully grasp its proper usage and can only wield a fraction of its power, its abilities are terrifying. I have used it several times to slay powerful enemies. It is undoubtedly the work of an ancient talisman master. With a gesture, the jade talisman floated into Ancestor Lingu's hand. He murmured an ancient, obscure incantation. Instantly, the talisman transformed into a sphere of black light. A bone-chilling yin wind swept through the room. Above Ancestor Lingu's head, a massive demonic hand condensed from black-red light. The hand was more than a meter wide, flickering intermittently with yin flames. An indescribable sinister aura flooded the tea house, sending a chill through the air. Han Li's heart trembled. After hundreds of years of study, I have only managed to unlock this single divine ability, Ancestor Lingu said evenly. This profound ghost hand is nearly invulnerable unless struck by a yang-attributed treasure. Any magic or ancient treasures it seizes will immediately lose their power and remain obediently captured. Even top-grade treasures will have their might and spirituality suppressed. As he spoke, the black hand expanded several-fold and reached toward a nearby table. Black yin flames swept over the wood in silence, and the table vanished completely, leaving behind not even ashes. Han Li felt a chill creep through his body. This appeared to resemble a devil Dao technique that manifested spiritual sense. Yet because the hand originated from the jade talisman itself, there was no risk of backlash. As for the eerie yin flames, they were clearly a separate divine ability. This jade talisman certainly possesses other powers, Ancestor Lingu continued. Unfortunately, I no longer have the time or opportunity to uncover them. You, however, still have many years ahead of you. That said, much of its power has already been expended. You would do well to use it sparingly. With a wave of his hand, the black hand dissolved into light and returned to the table, reverting to its original jade talisman form. Han Li smiled calmly, though his interest in the talisman had been thoroughly stirred. Even if its power fell short of Ancestor Lingu's description, the talisman itself was an invaluable reference for studying ancient talisman arts, something of immense benefit to him. Once Ancestor Lingu finished presenting the treasures, he swept his sleeve across the table. The 3 items vanished, replaced by 3 translucent white jade discs. Han Li looked up and said evenly, These formation discs were personally refined by me. They cannot be replicated. After your passing, I will not refuse 3 requests made by Yellow Maple Valley. Ancestor Lingu smiled. Good. With these words, I can finally set my heart at ease. With the matter concluded, Han Li rose and took his leave. Ancestor Lingu offered no resistance, merely exchanging a few polite words as he watched Han Li depart. Once alone, Ancestor Lingu's smile slowly faded. He stared at the table, lost in deep thought. Han Li did not immediately return to his residence after leaving the tea house. Instead, he glanced at the sky, found a secluded spot, and took out the jade slip given to him by the Heaven Peak sect elder. After carefully examining its contents with his spiritual sense, a hesitant expression appeared on his face. Han Li idly turned the jade slip in his hand as he pondered. A moment later, a flash of azure light flickered, and the jade slip vanished from his palm. Without further hesitation, he set off in long strides toward the location recorded within. After traversing most of Soaring Heaven's city, Han Li arrived at a remote corner where an unremarkable mixed goods shop stood. A black wooden sign hung above its entrance, bearing the flamboyant calligraphy Jade Union Pavilion. Han Li paused briefly to examine it, then slowly stepped inside. The interior was modest in size, a single hall no more than 20 meters long. Most of the items on display were common materials and talismans. To one side stood an exquisitely crafted side door leading further inward. Behind the counter near the entrance sat a middle-aged man in grey robes, seemingly engrossed in a small ledger. Han Li casually swept his spiritual sense over him and found his cultivation to be extremely low, merely at the chi condensation stage. His appearance was equally unremarkable. The shopkeeper immediately noticed Han Li's entrance. He rose with a smile and hurried forward in welcome. Senior, what might you be interested in? Our shop carries all manner of goods. I'm certain you'll find something to your satisfaction. Han Li smiled faintly. With a flip of his hand, the green jade slip appeared in his grasp. He placed it into the shopkeeper's hand. The man's expression changed instantly. He hastily put the jade slip away and asked with utmost respect, "May I ask for Senior's honored name?" Han Li replied casually. "So it is Senior Han." The shopkeeper's attitude became even more deferential. "Martial ancestor mentioned that Senior Han would be arriving, but I didn't expect it to be so soon. Please follow me." Han Li nodded and followed him inside. To his surprise, the back area was a warehouse packed with cabinets and trunks, the walls lined from floor to ceiling. The middle-aged man walked to a wooden cabinet and gently pressed one corner. Two adjacent cabinets silently slid apart, revealing a hidden stairway. Leading the way, the shopkeeper explained. To avoid alerting any perceptive guests, this mechanism was designed using mortal techniques. Han Li was not particularly surprised. The man then stepped on a floor tile. With a muffled creak, part of the wall slid open, revealing a dim, eerie passage descending into darkness. The shopkeeper stepped aside and smiled apologetically. "This junior lacks the qualifications to proceed further. Senior must go on alone." Han Li frowned slightly and extended his spiritual sense downward. He detected faint fluctuations of spiritual qi and quickly discerned the presence of a simple spirit obstruction formation. While he could easily break through it, doing so would undoubtedly alert those inside. He hesitated, though Han Li was confident that a Heaven Peak sect elder would not dare act recklessly within soaring Heaven's city. He had no desire to enter a sealed space without knowing whether the people inside were friend or foe. As he hesitated, those within the formation seemed to sense his caution. Moments later, the restriction dissolved on its own, allowing Han Li's spiritual sense to pass through unhindered. Han Li's heart stirred at this deliberate show of trust and at what he discovered within. "So it's him. That's unexpected," Han Li murmured. Without further hesitation, he descended the passage. Once Han Li disappeared from sight, the shopkeeper resealed the passage, restored the cabinets to their original positions, and returned to tending the shop as if nothing had occurred. The passageway was long, descending nearly 100 meters to ensure secrecy. At last, a faint glow appeared ahead. Han Li quickened his steps and emerged into a stone chamber. The room was spacious but sparsely furnished, containing only a few prayer mats. Facing the entrance, two men sat cross-legged upon them, both smiling as they looked toward Han Li. Han Li said nothing at first. He calmly found an empty mat and took his seat. Turning to one of the two, Han Li smiled and said, "I truly didn't expect fellow Taoist to find me. To encounter you here is quite a surprise." The man wore blue robes and a tall crown. Marquis Nanlong gave a wry smile. "Even I find it difficult to believe that I survived. When we parted, I thought I had escaped disaster, but they tracked me down using a secret technique. They caught up to me at the edge of the Mulan Plains." A sharp glint flashed in his eyes. "Fortunately, the heavens favor perseverance. I later encountered a group of high-grade spell warriors searching for us. In the chaos that followed, my pursuers were greatly delayed, allowing me to escape." His face was far paler than Han Li remembered, his eyes dull and exhausted. Clearly, his vitality had suffered heavy damage. Seated beside him was none other than the white-robed Heaven Peak sect elder Han Li had met earlier. Han Li's smile faded slightly, and a trace of annoyance entered his voice. "Fellow Taoist Nanlong, your ability to escape under such circumstances earns my respect. However, shouldn't you be resting in your cave residence instead of seeking me out so urgently? And to send a disciple to harass my concubine without hesitation, I find myself somewhat perplexed." Her Marquis Nanlong laughed dryly. "Fellow Taoist misunderstands. I truly had no choice. You must know that there are still people pursuing us. This arrangement was meant to avoid their notice." He gestured toward the white-robed elder. "This is fellow Taoist Jade Pearl of the Heaven Peak sect, a friend I would trust with my life. He was meant to accompany us on the previous treasure hunt, but sect affairs delayed him." Nanlong's demeanor toward Han Li was markedly different from before, carrying a clear respect. Evidently witnessing Han Li slay a nascent soul cultivator had left a deep impression on him. At that moment, the white-robed elder chuckled and clasped his hands. "If my methods caused offense, I hope fellow Taoist Han will not take it to heart. It was the only viable course." Han Li waved his hand dismissively. "It's fine. Since there was a reason, I'll let it pass. But did fellow Taoist Nanlong seek me out because of the jade box?" Marquis Nanlong's expression grew solemn. Fellow Taoist has guessed correctly. According to my sources, the Ghost Spirit sect paid a heavy price to bribe members of our previous party. They are determined to obtain Master Kang Kun's map and the method to enter Devilfall Valley. He leaned forward slightly. By chance, fellow Taoist Han possesses one of the essential items needed to enter the valley. Combined with my map, we can avoid most of its dangers and successfully acquire the treasure. A thought struck Han Li. An item essential to entering Devilfall Valley. Do you mean the Black Ring? Marquis Nanlong's eyes lit up a hint of color returning to his pale face. The Heaven-Earth Ring is indeed in fellow Taoist Han's possession. This is excellent. The Heaven-Earth Ring. Han Li frowned, the name stirring a vague sense of familiarity. Suddenly his expression changed. The Heaven-Earth Rings refined by wise Huang from Meteor Iron. I've heard that ordinarily they possess little power, but when exposed to Great North Essence light, they can manipulate it to kill, becoming formless in the process. They're considered of limited value. Fellow Taoist is truly well informed, Nanlong said with admiration. That is precisely the item. The Heaven-Earth Rings are divided into yin and yang. The yin ring protects against essence light, while the yang ring controls it to attack. Fellow Taoist Han should be in possession of the yin ring. He continued. Master Kang Kun relied on this ring to pass through the essence light region of Devilfall Valley unharmed. While other methods exist, they require massive formations laid by numerous cultivators or treasures that are either lost or impossible to obtain. Then fellow Taoist means. Han Li glanced between the two men, his thoughts already weighing the dangers against the potential gains. Marquis Nanlong blinked once and replied calmly, It is very simple. Fellow Taoist Jade Pearl. Fellow Taoist Han. And I will join forces and seize the treasures within Devilfall Valley. Once we obtain them, our strength will rise drastically, and there will be no need to fear anyone. Han Li did not respond at once. Instead, he narrowed his eyes and carefully observed the two of them. Having confirmed that the Black Ring was indeed one of the legendary Heaven-Earth Rings, his thoughts immediately drifted to the other ring he had obtained from Nangong Wan's senior martial sister. If his guess was correct, that ring must be the Yang counterpart of the Heaven-Earth Rings. He truly hadn't expected the two rings to be connected in such a way. The coincidence was so profound that Han Li couldn't help but laugh inwardly at the mysteries of fate. After a quiet sigh, Han Li revealed a hesitant expression. From what fellow Taoist Nanlong has said, it seems you already possess a reliable method to enter Devilfall Valley. With the assistance of the Heaven-Earth Ring, what are the actual chances of leaving alive and with treasure? He paused briefly, then continued evenly. Devilfall Valley is renowned as the most dangerous place in the heavenly south. This is no trivial matter. I have no desire to meet my end there and become nourishment for some passing beast. The two exchanged glances. A moment later, Marquis Nanlong spoke in a low voice. Since fellow Taoist Han has asked, I will not conceal the truth. According to what Master Kang Kun left behind, Devilfall Valley remains an extremely perilous place. A moment of carelessness could see one swallowed by shifting spatial rifts or trapped within remnants of ancient restrictions. He spoke frankly. To be honest, entering the valley poses little problem. We have an almost certain chance of doing so safely. The true danger lies in the search for treasure itself. The more dangerous the area, the greater the chance of encountering rare treasures. Even Master Kang Kun himself was unsure what lay within those regions. Nanlong's eyes glinted. At the time, Master Kang Kun had suffered severe damage to his cultivation and dared not venture deep into the valley's core. He only explored the outer regions and still managed to obtain several ancient treasures. This alone proves that Devilfall Valley contains relics left behind from desolate antiquity. If we brave the danger, the rewards will be extraordinary. By the end of his words, his voice carried a subtle note of temptation. Master Jade Pearl then added calmly, Of course, if fellow Taoist Han is truly unwilling to take the risk, you may simply hand the ring over to us. In that case, we can only offer you spirit stones in return. He paused before continuing, his tone deepening. However, the medicinal pills left behind by ancient cultivators are numerous and their effects defy imagination. With such pills, breaking through to mid or even late nascent soul stage would only be a matter of time. You may even uncover secrets related to deity transformation cultivators. Master Jade Pearl's eyes shone faintly. After all, no one truly knows what becomes of cultivators after they enter deity transformation, whether they ascend to the spirit realm or undergo some other form of transcendence. Does fellow Taoist truly have no desire to uncover the truth? Han Li's eyes flickered. He fell silent for a moment before speaking slowly. If I am not mistaken, you two require my presence in Devilfall Valley for a specific reason. Otherwise, with your many nascent soul allies, there would be no need to involve me at all. The moment those words fell, both men stiffened slightly. An awkward trace flashed across their faces. Marquis Nanlong let out a helpless chuckle, his lips curving into a wry smile. To be honest, I intended to explain this even if fellow Taoist Han had not brought it up. His expression turned grave. Aside from spatial rifts and ancient restrictions, Devilfall Valley is home to several ancient beasts that have survived since antiquity. Among them is the ancient flame toad, a creature long thought extinct. Nanlong's voice lowered. Though it has yet to gain intelligence, it has lived for countless years and grown unimaginably powerful. Its body is covered in scales wreathed in otherworldly demonic flames. According to Master Kang Kun's records, its demon fire is several times more intense than even our nascent flames. He looked directly at Han Li. With the blue ice flames you use to instantly freeze a nascent soul cultivator, you should be capable of restraining that flame toad. Han Li blinked in surprise, then revealed an odd expression. You're saying, the flame toad is blocking your route into the valley? Not quite, Master Jade Pearl replied evenly. Rather, the beast is tied to the remains of an ancient cultivator. There are no restrictions or spatial rifts near the remains themselves, but the ancient flame toad happened to establish its nest nearby. He continued, Master Kang Kun once attempted to retrieve those remains. However, after clashing with the flame toad, he was forced to retreat. Even so, he was poisoned by its flame venom and nearly perished. Han Li chuckled softly. I see now. You two wish for me to deal with the ancient flame toad while you seize the treasure. Marquis Nanlong nodded eagerly. Exactly. Compared to ancient restrictions and spatial rifts, dealing with the flame toad is far more manageable. With proper coordination and your ice flames, we should have no difficulty. He added quickly, we don't even need you to slay the beast. Merely draw its attention while we retrieve the ancient cultivator's storage pouch. Once we succeed, we can disengage immediately. After a moment's thought, Han Li said indifferently, from what you've said, confronting the flame toad after entering seems safer than venturing into other parts of Devilfall Valley. Marquis Nanlong nodded. If fortune favors us, the contents of that storage pouch will more than justify the risk. Han Li let out a faint smirk, a mysterious smile forming. Even so, wouldn't it be wiser to draw upon the Heaven Peak sect's strength and act together? Surely the sect could find other cultivators proficient in ice-attributed techniques. Marquis Nanlong sighed. It seems fellow Taoist Han still underestimates the terror of the Great North Essence Light. Even with the Heaven-Earth Ring, we can only shelter 3 people at most. It lacks the power to protect a 4th. His listless eyes suddenly flashed with cold light. As for the Heaven Peak sect, after what transpired with the Ghost Spirit sect, I'm sure fellow Taoist understands why I find it difficult to trust others. Hearing this, Han Li merely smiled, showing no surprise. It seems Brother Nanlong places considerable trust in me. I am truly honored. Master Jade Pearl took a breath and fixed his gaze on Han Li. Fellow Taoist Han, we have already settled our other affairs. Will you now give us your answer? Han Li avoided a direct response and instead asked, do you intend to enter Devilfall Valley soon? Marquis Nanlong answered promptly, no, although most spatial rifts constantly shift. Once every 50 years, there comes a period when they are comparatively stable. I investigated this before entering the Mulan Plains. That calm period will arrive in about 4 years. He continued, until then, we must make adequate preparations. Han Li stroked his chin thoughtfully. After a long pause, he finally spoke. Since there is still time, I must deliberate carefully. How about this? I will give you my answer 1 year before Devilfall Valley enters its calm period. He added calmly, even if I decide not to enter the valley myself, I will still hand the Heaven-Earth Ring over to you. The two were clearly dissatisfied, but Han Li had no intention of rashly agreeing to venture into such a perilous place. After all, he was different from them. It was obvious that Marquis Nanlong and Master Jade Pearl were far older and nearing the limits of their lifespans. For them, this was likely their final opportunity. Han Li, on the other hand, was still young. He could afford caution, especially in a world where circumstances changed swiftly. Fortunately, Han Li had already agreed to provide the Heaven-Earth Ring, and the two did not press the issue further. After a bit more discussion regarding Devilfall Valley, Han Li politely took his leave. Before he departed, Master Jade Pearl handed him a medallion. As long as fellow Taoist presents this medallion to any Heaven Peak sect disciple, they will immediately contact me. Han Li accepted it without hesitation and left the stone chamber. Upon returning to the shop above, he exited onto the street amid the shopkeeper's respectful farewell. Han Li was certain that not long after his departure, the two would relocate, especially given Marquis Nanlong's severe injuries. Finding a safe place to recover would be urgent. Even so, it would be exceedingly difficult for him to fully recover within a few short years. It was entirely possible that his injuries would cause his cultivation to fall by an entire realm. Han Li shook his head inwardly and cast the matter aside as he calmly returned to his residence. Devilfall Valley lay far in the future, but the invasion of the Mulan spell warriors was unfolding in the present. That was a calamity he could not avoid. With these thoughts in mind, Han Li slowly faded from view.